Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Paul Lopez.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
Hi, so Sabrina, there's a lot to get into this morning and a lot to discuss in terms of our show lineup. Do you want to do the show lineup? Actually, let me do the show lineup this morning. So we kick things off with a very important conversation on the 13th Amendment Bill. This is one of those hot topic discussions that will continue for weeks to come. And so we'll have that sit down with a very learned attorney and senator, right? So you want to stay tuned for that conversation. And then also we have a conversation on bringing divine restoration with healing streams. And thirdly, we spoke a bit about this in a conversation last week, Friday, where we're diving into discovering Belize's next top open format DJ. Big things happening tonight at the Bliss. We're going to have that conversation. And sticking with the topic of the 13th Amendment, once we get around to it, we'll be having a deep dive, a debate on should the 13th Amendment be decided by a referendum or a parliamentary vote. So those are the conversations that you can look forward to in this morn's show. Sab?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's Wednesdays.
It's not. Thursday. It's Thursday.
You know what?
Cut the show. Let's start it over.
Good morning. Welcome to Open Your Eyes. I'm doing well. It's Thursday. We're winding down to the week. I won't make any comments on slow weeks, and you know what? But I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I get to do this every morning. I get the opportunity to be here. I'm grateful that we have faithful viewers every single morning. I'm grateful for those who reach out to me on social media or reach out on just the street, people who make contact and say, hey, we love what you all are doing here at Open Your Eyes. We are faithful viewers and continue to do the good job. But we want to tell you, continue to do the good job of watching and supporting and sharing with your friends and families, and even the online stuff that we engage in, or behind the scenes or TikTok. You know, sometimes it's a heavy conversation, sometimes it's lighthearted stuff on social media, and there's that generation that loves that. And so we are thankful for you, very, very, very thankful, because without you, the show wouldn't be what it is.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to start the conversation, Paul. But we do want to move into some topics we think you guys should be discussing before you head out to work or wherever. This might be an interesting conversation or discussions to have at the office this morning as well. Starting off with the National Assembly hosting public consultations on the 13th Amendment. Also, the KHMHWU and Hospital Authority back at the negotiation table. Michael Parafit resigns again. Our Taiwan scholarships becoming a one-way ticket out of Belize, and St. Catherine goes solar with charging stations. I feel like I'd love to dive into each and every one of these.
Know, right?
They're all so interesting in their own ways, but I think it's worthy to discuss What's at the top of the list at this time, which is the consultation that took place yesterday. We highlighted it in our newscast, and we also kind of informed you ahead of time in the morning that it would have been taking place at Swift Hall at 10 a.m. This saw civilians, people that were interested in this particular topic, one that we have been diving into extensively, and we will be continuing in discussion later on in our show. The 13th Amendment bill, Paul. We were able to go to Swift Hall yesterday and hear some points from persons raising concerns about it, some also saying that they supported it. But I think what was also important was seeing government officials come to the table to hear these concerns and these thoughts from the public.
Indeed, and that's what is very commendable about what happened yesterday at the Swift Hall. The House Committee in the National Assembly for Constitution and Foreign Affairs, they were present, that House Committee, so they made up of opposition and government representatives were present at the head table for this discussion. And I know there's a lot of talk about the turnout. I think what happened is that because of the timing of this consultation, the turnout was not massive, right? So it's on a Thursday morning, it's a work day, Wednesday, I'm getting my days mixed up today very much. But it was on a Wednesday, on a work day morning, and so a lot of people naturally are at work. There are those who took the time out though to be present and to share their thoughts, and so that's one, the amount of people that turned out. But you also have to look at the quality of the contributions that were made by those who actually turned out. I'll say right off the bat that based on my observation, at least 90% of those who contributed opposed to the bill in full or opposed to the bill in its majority or in part, right? So there were strong oppositions to this bill, this proposed bill, while you have to also acknowledge those who supported the bill and who came out to support it. Those who, based on my observations and what we're able to see, those who supported the bill are of the view that, you know what, enough is enough. The line was drawn for them at the point where an elderly woman and her disabled son were murdered. We're talking about the Joneses, Miss Evadne and Luke, as he was affectionately known. That is where the line has been drawn for a lot of these individuals who support the bill, right?
Yeah.
If not, they're saying, if not this, then what? For those who don't support the bill, and I'm talking about regular citizens like yourself and I that aren't necessarily legal minds, their primary concern, based on what I've observed, has to do with the powers afforded to law enforcement officers, or in the bill it says security forces, under this proposed bill. So they are speaking, so what we're seeing here are Facebook responses as well. And again, just like in the public consultation, the Facebook responses were a mixed bag. People were saying, we support, we don't support. For those who don't support, the regular citizens, their concern has to do with the powers afforded to security forces under this legislation. So the fact that police officers, Coast Guard, BDF, whatever the makeup will be in special areas, can conduct operations without warrants. So they could, we've had the discussions, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot that's afforded to them.
And what seems to be the main concern coming out of the consultation yesterday, because I think one that we've heard via phone lines were the idea of removing persons without a warrant, removing private property without a warrant. It's the powers
that's given to security forces to do all of these things that they can do based on the legislation in these special areas. And then the attorneys that were present, because there were a lot of attorneys present, a good amount, I counted at least 10 attorneys
Wow.
in and out, right? And these are attorneys that we know, we've interacted with in the media. They spent time focusing on the guns and gangs court. They also spent some time focusing also on the powers afforded to security forces under this bill. I think, though, that there's a third aspect that needs further discussion, and it was raised. The topic or the thought that about what is the root cause, or the question, what is the root cause of all this crime that's taking place, that's really causing this level of unrest and lack of security, safety within our communities and within our societies, right? And what are we doing, one as law and policy makers, as the government, to tackle the root cause? I haven't formulated a personal opinion on this, but if I'm to delve into a discussion on crime and on the measures that should be put in place, whether it's these strong, heavy-handed measures, my leaning would be towards looking at the root causes.
Yeah.
Honestly, my leaning would be towards what are we doing to address the social ills, the situations that lead youths or influence youths towards a life of crime, families towards a life of crime, whether it's poverty, whether it's socioeconomic, whether it's employment, whether it's psychological in a lot of cases, emotional, and how are we addressing these root causes? And so I think that's where my personal opinions would lean. But all in all, I think that this was a good thing that happened yesterday. I'd like to see it take place in other parts of the country, though. I
Yes.
understand the location and the importance, the significance of the Swift Hall to the grand scheme of things in terms of crime and violence and state of emergencies, and then the significance of Belize City in a whole as well, where this consultation was held.
You know, I think we go back to a conversation, Paul, that we've often had, critics that is, when we discuss the state of emergencies. And a prominent figure that I always go back to is a social scientist from Jamaica who frequently comes to Belize to speak about the situation here regarding crime and violence. That's Dr. Herbert Gale. And he has spoken about the root causes that you spoke of. I think where the challenge lies is that the solution to this root cause might be more long-term than short.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at, I personally believe, are short-term solutions to the crime situation. We are immediately picking them up and putting them away because that's a quick fix. That's something that can ease the pain that we're seeing right now, where we're reporting on an increased number of crime and violence. That's not to say that we do not want this to be resolved as quickly as possible. I think, though, we need to also be thinking long-term because we could find ourselves running in a cycle of constantly doing the same thing over and over.
We have been.
And it's because of that, I think, at this point, we might need to be considering more long-term solutions because the states of emergencies, while they resolve the matter now, it creates generational trauma even. And that is something that was also brought up by Dr. Herbert Gale, such an interesting individual, but with a wealth of information regarding, just the social sciences. But we do want to move things along, Paul. And also quite interesting that we also highlighted on the news last night was the resignation again of the chairman, or I guess I should say at this point, the former chairman of the United Democratic Party, Michael Perry-Feet.
Indeed. So all of this comes on the heels of what took place on Saturday with the NPC meeting, and more so the leaked video of actually what took place inside the headquarters. And to the surprise of many, Mr. Perry-Feet was very quiet in that meeting. Mr. Faber confirmed that he didn't even utter a word to him, like Perfect didn't utter a word to Mr. Faber. He was very quiet, and he was reserved, and he kept his composure. And after the meeting, we spoke with Mr. Perfect, and that's where he expressed a bit of disappointment. He was clearly frustrated and upset by the entire thing and how it played out. And then after that, there were questions that were raised about the validity of the credibility even of the voting process. Questions about if quorum was in fact met inside the physical meeting. And then further questions about whether quorum was met and if the threshold of voters was met inside the online voting process. We saw a leaked video on another social media platform, media outlet, where it appeared as if only 28 persons voted. And then in the resolution that was put, Mr. Perfect had said, well, if you no vote, if you no say nothing, we take that as a yes, essentially, right? So 28 persons seemingly gave their input, and the others that didn't, it appears as if they took that as a yes. So all that these questions and what arose from Saturday's meeting did, in our view, because we were there, it created an even greater divide within the United Democratic Party. There were more questions and answers in terms of the future of the party, in terms of the road towards unity following Saturday's meeting. And I think that is what led Mr. Perfect to the brink of yet again submitting a second resignation. Is this his final goodbye in terms of handing in a resignation? We don't know. We don't know, because now we've seen it before. We've seen where resignations are submitted and then rescinded. But it seems to me that, yes, he has just had enough, and he wants nothing to do with the division. He wants nothing to do with the chaos and the controversy that exists in terms of the attempt to unite the United Democratic Party.
Well, he did tell us. He did tell us upon his return, his last return, that look, if it doesn't seem like it's going to work out, I'm going to move on. I'm going to leave. And so I think this goes exactly in line with what he did say. I guess the big question at this point is what happens from here? Because the last time we saw the resignation of Michael Perfect, what quickly followed? Who else resigned after?
Oh, well, yeah.
The resignation of Mr. Barrow.
No, that's not going to happen. We had him on the couch.
We had him on the couch, but I don't know what their relationship is looking like. I don't know if he informed Mr. Barrow as well that he would be parting ways with the party again. And so, or at least formally in his role, that is. And so we will be seeing what steps follow from here. Quite an interesting ordeal. I think it's getting increasingly exhausting for everyone. The coverage that was provided on Saturday, you could see from persons coming out of the meeting, everyone was saying a resounding message. They're frustrated, they're exhausted by it. And we go back to the points that we also raised when we had Mr. Barrow on the couch. I think the general public are also tired of the noise as well. Moving things along, we also want to discuss a pretty interesting dialogue taking place online, and that has to do with opportunities that people get to further their education in Taiwan. Now, you would know that we have strong bilateral relationships with the Republic of China, Taiwan. We've seen hundreds of Belizeans on an annual basis get scholarships to further their education. Well, there's been a bit of a chatter taking place online, Paul, where people are essentially saying that, you know, a lot of them are considering staying in Taiwan after completing their studies because there's really no opportunities here in Belize after they are able to further their education. Is it worth it, or is it worthwhile to return to Belize and not be able to even use your degree?
Yeah, I wanted to highlight in this part of the conversation briefly a thesis or a study that was done by a student that in Taiwan, a Belizean student in Taiwan in 2019. This student was afforded one of these scholarships, and we saw the cover page of her thesis a moments ago. If you can bring that up real quick just so I could address that. So this student did a study on the post-graduation perceptions of the Taiwan scholarship graduates from Belize in terms of their career advancement, because it's all about, can I advance in my career in Belize after receiving this degree, right? And this individual polled some 200 or did a survey, some 200 participants. These are graduates from Belize who's participated or received a Taiwan scholarship from 1998 to 2008. And the findings are interesting, right? And I'll only highlight a couple. What this individual found was that 77% of those graduates said they were employed in Belize, right? So yes, we're employed, of those persons that they did the survey on. So there was a 23% unemployment rate according to this study. So yes, while you have the 77% employed, you had a sizable amount that of the sample size that said, we come back and we not get work. Or we come back and it take we one while for find a job, right? And another interesting finding from this research, and I sent in a couple graphs just to go through them. While education was the lowest field in terms of studies in Taiwan, so that's it. These are all the studies in terms of the fields that these students study. You see business there high, engineering high, education on the lowest.
Health is also the third highest.
Right. When these students, according to the study, when these students came back, well, it flipped in terms of their careers, right? So the next graph will show, if we could pull that up, that education is the second highest in terms of employment.
Yeah.
So you come back with your degree, you come back with your study,
and you end up teaching.
Well, you end up somewhere in the education sector, and then business, well, it's among the highest, so it remains. It's very insightful in that a lot of students are staying in Taiwan, in my view, because they see that they can actually work in the field they've studied in, and they can actually make the sort of pay, a salary that they want to make based on their qualifications. But the underpinning or the underlying thing here is that when these scholarships are given, it is with an agreement or an understanding that we're giving this to you so that you could develop yourself and come back and develop Belize's socio-economic status. So is that happening? Well, this is worth further discussions.
So I saw a post online with a person saying that she went to Taiwan to study agriculture, and she's now back in Belize working at a financial institution.
Yeah, there you go.
There are also several persons who went to Taiwan to pursue higher education and stayed and are now working in education, teaching English.
That's true.
Some choosing to stick to that instead because it probably pays more than what they would be doing back here in Belize. It's definitely a deeper conversation I think we should be having. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to jump into that, but we will be revisiting this conversation certainly. We got to jump into our weather update though, and of course that comes from the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Alright, and so here's a look at our weather update or today's forecast. According to this, it's going to be sunny with a few cloudy spells today and isolated showers or thunderstorms developing, right? So sunny, I guess some rain as well. Then cloudy at times with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms expected over the southern districts for tonight. Those are the districts that people say is always raining in some abnormal times. Today's temperatures, the coast 88 degrees Fahrenheit on the higher end and 82 degrees on the lower end. That's relatively fair. Inland 93 degrees Fahrenheit on the higher end, 74 degrees Fahrenheit on the lower end. And then in the hills, the temperatures drop as usual, 82 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 on the lower end. Let's move on now to our extended forecast. We're moving all the way to Friday, and lo and behold, Friday is actually tomorrow, so we're coming to the end of the week. 88 degrees on the lower end, 94 on the higher end, and then Saturday is the weekend. 88 degrees on the lower end and 93 on the higher end. It's a tad bit tick down. And then on Sunday, 88 degrees on the lower end, 93 on the higher end. Again, Monday, we could just repeat this, 88 and 93. So you could expect basically a trend in terms of the weather patterns for this weekend. Let's move on now to our astronomical forecast. Sunrise this morning, the sun rose at 5:27 a.m. and it's going to set this evening at 6:30 p.m. That's when the darkness starts to set in. Moon sets this morning at 11:38 and then it's going to rise tonight just before midnight at 11:31 p.m. In our terms of our marine conditions, the sea state is going to be choppy to moderate. The winds is going to blow from the east at 10 to 20 knots. In terms of our tides, today's low begins at 9:19 a.m. so we have a couple more hours to that, and today's high begins at 3:08 p.m. Again, another low at 9:01 p.m. and then tomorrow's high at 3:12 a.m. That does it for our eye on the weather. We do hope you have a wonderful day in terms of the weather. Here's our satellite view of the weather, and it seems clear. There's a little bit of something over there in the southern parts, and so perhaps that's what will affect the southern districts. But that does it for our weather update. Sabrina?
Alrighty, thank you, Paul. Moving things along, we have to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we are going to be joined by Glenfield Dennison. He's a senator for the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, and he will be here to discuss further the 13th Amendment bill.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 585. Here are this week's contestants.
If you look into her eyes, you'll see the strand of a vow. They're saying, this is my message to you, you. Take my breath away if only you would stay.
Why you didn't dip on the grind? Just bear this in my mind. These streets don't love you like I do.
Wrap my arms around you. Oh, a woman like you. Oh, I don't deserve it. To experience to be taken for a stroll. To experience for someone to rock and roll. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time.
We were meant to be me. Girl, you've always been my lover, always been my lover. You don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid line, influencing the youth and to snort a line or take a line.
You can change the world today, and I'm living proof that crime doesn't pay.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight, and don't forget to tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Greater Belize Media.
Oh man, one more stroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned with us. This is our first conversation for this morning with a guest, and it's all about the 13th Amendment and learning the importance of the 13th Amendment, breaking it down, just diving deeper into it. And we have joining us on set, Senator and attorney, right? None other than Mr. Denfield Dennison.
Glenfield.
Right,
Glenfield
and so
Dennison.
he is on set with us. Yeah, correct your name if I get it wrong just now. But I also have the Belize Constitution Chapter 4 in my hands because this is a very important document or book in this conversation. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Thanks
you
for having
doing?
me. I'm well. I'm extremely well. It's a good morning to be woken up, and I'm happy to be here.
Good. So let's just say off the bat the fact that you are not in support of the 13th Amendment.
That's correct. I think it's a step in the wrong direction.
You think it's a step in the wrong direction?
Right. So let me be clear. The Constitution already provides for what is trying to be done here. What I think this is, let me start over, Paul. Whenever you do legislation, the question always has to start with what is the policy? What is the policy? And to me, the policy that they're trying to get is already provided for in our laws. What do I mean by that? This seeks to declare certain areas and to give the police some extra powers in those areas during that period. We already have that in the Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act. What this does, that the Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act doesn't do, is to make the government able to detain citizens for 30 days. We already have that. That's already in Section 18 of the Constitution. So my analysis of this piece of law is that the government is playing semantics now. We've heard the commissioner say he doesn't want to call it states of emergency anymore. This is what this is. We're legislating now in our Constitution for the desire to call states of emergency something else. Now we're just going to have special areas. The country is no longer under states of emergency. That's the big bad word. Everybody's afraid of it. And I can understand because the tourists, the US government, people when they hear, oh, the country is under a state of emergency, it may send the wrong perception. And perception isn't reality, but it matters. And so I think that's what this is.
So before you continue, I've heard you say yesterday, and you're repeating it today, that a lot of what is being proposed in this bill already exists.
Correct.
So what is the significance or importance of adding it to the Constitution? How does that help to bolster legislation, laws, make it more powerful, if you would? What does it change to put something into the Constitution?
So for this particular thing, you'd have to ask the government. But generally, to answer your question,
yes,
when something is an ordinary piece of legislation, laws have hierarchies, and the supreme one is the Constitution. So that if you try to create a situation where the question has to be not is the law constitutional, but is the constitutional amendment constitutional? Right, it's a tricky thing, and I feel like maybe inadvertently, policymakers may be trying to move the ordinary piece of legislation to give it constitutional context and constitutional backing, so that when they enforce it, you're going to run to the courts to say, hey, this is a breach of my constitutional right, and then the court will have to say whether or not it reaches to that power, that level of the breach, because the Constitution provides for it. What I will say is that this particular one, once it's not used properly, it has the same triggers like the SOE. So once it's not used properly, you can find yourself in the same situation where people will be suing, and some of them suing successfully. Paul, this piece of legislation, even in the recitals, it makes it very clear. This is about the guys who successfully sued the government over being detained under the SOE.
And that's where I wanted to take the conversation, because it almost seems like they recognized that there could be a stream of other lawsuits coming from persons who would have been under the previous SOEs. And this is kind of to cover all the bases to ensure that that does not take place in the future, but also retroactively ensuring that the others in the past as well are not included.
Thanks for saying that. It couldn't have been said any better than that, Sabrina, because that's exactly how I see it. We have to think how these policy decisions are made, and no one can convince me that those guys who sued through the court were the first ones who were paid. You see, when you want to sue the government, you have to send notice to the Attorney General. The Attorney General will read through what it is, and they will decide if they will settle. I suspect, I don't have any proof of this, I suspect that a few people may have successfully been awarded funds. It's confidential, so they can't tell us, but they would have sent their suit. The government would have said, oh man, mea culpa, I can't defend that suit, so here, let's settle.
Well, what makes the one that we're discussing different, I think, is because of how public it was.
Right.
And
so
the fact that it would encourage other people, inspire other people to do the same, because they're now realizing, oh, that could be the outcome. My rights were infringed upon. Oh, I'm going to make a quick buck from this. It's the least I could get after spending so many months at the Belize Central Prison.
That's what I think happened with these 16 guys.
Yeah.
So I think there was a settlement. And then these 16 guys said, oh, really? Sign me up too. Their letter was sent, and then the government said, hey, hold on. We're not going to open that floodgate. We're going to litigate it.
I'd like to take the conversation to the start of this proposed legislation. One of the things that the government mentioned, or the drafters mentioned, is that there's a level of uncertainty that was created as a result of those high court rulings, right? So let's start there.
Sure.
One ruling says it's lawful, another ruling says it's unlawful, saying it in the most simple terms. And it created an uncertainty about the Governor General's, that 18.3 section about the Governor General's ability or powers to declare these states of emergencies. How is it then, in your view, not better what is being proposed to also include the National Security Council, and I think it's the National Advisory Board as well, but primarily the National Security Council as a part of the mechanism to validate, if you would, that, you know what, a state of emergency is in fact is a situation of emergency, and so this is the course we need to take. So now it's not only the Governor General, there's input from a major security board in our nation, or major security council. How is this not better?
Thanks for that, Paul. That's a very curious perspective. Let me just start here. That rationale is not true. The court did not question the Governor General's ability to declare a state of emergency. What the court has said is that the circumstances giving rise to you declaring a state of emergency did not lend itself to a situation where you could have declared a state of emergency. That's a very important distinction, Paul, because you see, the question of your ability to do it is beyond question. The Governor General can do it. Okay, she can. The question is, under what circumstances can she do it? And if you look at the claim and the judgment, you will see that what the court said in one instance is that the government did not provide any evidence to show that it was justified in calling the state of emergency. So the question isn't, can the Governor General do it, and we need to put in people who will advise the Governor General, which they've done wrong, by the way. I will get to that. So that's not the question. The question is, what is the policy that drives when we will declare a state of emergency? That's the question.
How do you determine?
That's the error. That's what, and the court didn't say it wasn't the time for you to call it on. The court said you didn't provide me the evidence to convince me that there was a situation where that is the appropriate step. That's what the court said, without question. So,
and that's still not determined in this new piece of...
So, Paul, what needs to be done is either the lawyers who lost with Justice Gunateleke need to take it to appeal, because the government won't take it to appeal. And the reason I think it won't go to appeal is because there's no evidence. The evidence just was not there, right? And maximum respect to Deputy Commissioner Bart Jones, but the affidavit was lacking.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what the court said.
That's what the court said. So the court didn't say you cannot declare a state of emergency. The court said you did not provide me with enough evidence to convince me that you declared a state of emergency properly. You know, so we don't need this. We need the police to start documenting who these people are that they say are causing havoc, what it is their profiles are, where they come from, what they've been doing, not the charge sheet. Okay, maybe you couldn't charge them, but if you have a profile on these people, and those are the people that you say are the bad state actors who are creating a situation where it would become unsafe for the public, then show that, and in your affidavit say we had intel that this was going to happen, and that is why we declared a state of emergency. That would be constitutional. You understand? And so, Paul, I want to raise a very important thing, because we've discussed the recitals, right? But I want to discuss the actual provisions now.
Okay.
Section 18, they want to amend it, right? And I just, so you all know, right? The PCC didn't waste $2 million. We actually discussed this. I led the discussion. And so, 18.3. They're amending 18.3 now, that the Governor General must be satisfied on the advice of the National Security Council and the National Advisory Committee. I don't know what the National Advisory Committee is. Maybe you can tell me.
Well, yeah, I looked it up. I
couldn't find it.
National Security Council. Yeah.
Right, that's provided for in our legislation.
correct.
We know who those people are. We know what their
those
post is. Maybe it's Belize Advisory Council. I don't know.
Okay.
So, whatever that is, whoever they are, they will advise the Governor General, right? The question isn't who advises. The question is how they come up with what they advise. One. No, that provision applies to subsection 3. It applies to paragraph A and B, right? There's a distinction here, Paul. There has to be a distinction here. One, the first one says that there's a state of war, and another state is that a public emergency has arisen as a result or occurrence of any earthquake, hurricane, flood, fire, outbreak, pestilence. Now, where the Governor General isn't advised by anybody, right?
You're reading from existing legislation.
This is the
right?
Constitution.
Okay, reading from the Constitution.
So, where the Governor General is satisfied, right? She's exercising her own deliberate judgment if you don't say, if something isn't specified. But she can act on the advice. In default, it's on the advice of the cabinet. No, Paul, I don't wish to put any layer on her acting between her deciding that this proclamation is needed. I don't want anybody, no extra bureaucracy in there, because when a hurricane comes, you need that like that. How do you know that where these people will be? National Security Council, those people will be busy when a hurricane comes. I mean, we don't have earthquakes here, but there's an outbreak of infectious disease, and so we need immediacy in the response, right? So I don't want any layer between there. I think for those areas, once the Prime Minister, who has the mandate, says, Governor General, there's a state of emergency in Monkey River Town, in Belize City, because of a hurricane, then do that. I think that's what the power should be there for. Just, Gigi, we need a proclamation so that Belize City, then a run red, because lights are off in Belize City right now. After this hurricane, please do this proclamation now.
What do you believe is the purpose then of having, why do you think that the government chose to include a national advisory?
It's what Paul said, but that should only apply to B.
Which is
the situation that action has been taken or is immediately threatened by any of the body of persons of such a nature and on so extensive a scale that it is likely to endanger the public safety or deprive the community of
public endangerment.
Right, which is here. It's in the recital.
Legislation, yes.
So whatever change you wanted to do to add that layer, that's where it belongs. Not on the whole, not on A and B.
Okay.
You're adding, the Prime Minister needs to have the ability to just say to the Governor General, declare a state of emergency in Belize City, we had a hurricane.
Yeah, he's not utilizing his authority in a way that he could in this case.
Well, it's a little bit worse than that. He would be giving up his authority to the National Advisory Committee when there's a hurricane. So they now have to advise the Governor General of what is happening. Now he will, these are people, very professional people, but they will have to come together and then decide that there is a state of emergency, we need a proclamation from the GG and send it. It's more efficient to have the Prime Minister just do that.
Now,
in my view.
Let's see how we could kind of pace ourselves through this discussion. Now that has been established, what it gives them the authority to do is to declare special areas. Right? How special are these special areas? The question is, or is it just a matter of like wording? Special areas versus state of emergency.
I think so.
And what are the cordons, by the way?
So it will apply. I said yesterday they copy and paste the Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act. They actually also copy and paste the constitutional provisions in Section 18.
Tell us.
It gives the same power under the SOE. In this section, it copy and paste. It's the exact powers that you will have, that you had under the SOE, it's the same legal structure that will now exist in 18A, so that you can do all the things you can do under the SOE. And the important one is detaining the liberty of citizens in that area for a 30-day period first, and then by resolution to the National Assembly. These things are the same requirements under the SOE. It's SOE 2.0.
So this is my view, and I will say this is my personal view, but I think speaking to what we opened the show highlighting, that there's a portion of this bill that seeks to protect the government from future lawsuits and existing lawsuits. I think the wording of this is kind of like, you know, when they say there's a promotion taking place and it's only 30% or only $100, the wording here is to shift that negative perception of the state of emergency. When we think of emergency, we think negative.
Yeah.
When we think special zones, we think, oh, you special,
Right.
Glenfield.
Right, that's it.
And so perhaps that's an opportunity that was used to change that negative connotation associated with the state of emergency from the general public. We've heard more negative reactions to it from the general public, more criticisms regarding the state of emergency, that of it being a Band-Aid effect. We heard from you guys. And so perhaps choosing to change the way that it's described as special zones, what's your take on that?
That's all it is. It's semantics.
Semantics.
They're constitutionalizing semantics.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like I can't even wrap my mind around that. Like, hey, let's stop calling it state of emergency, man. Like we're getting a bad rep for that. Like let's just change the name then. Like it, you know, Crawford are like 50% off. Crawford like buy one get one free.
Yes.
Crawford.
That's what I was trying to describe right there.
Buy one get one free. That different from 50% off, and Paul. It's different because buy one get one free get you in at the door. 50% off.
One of the primary concerns we've heard, especially in the public discussion yesterday, has to do with the powers afforded to security forces. Within these special areas. What is this proposed legislation saying about those powers? Do those already exist in any
Paul.
part under the law? So what is it saying about that?
Paul, these
what can police
provisions,
do in these areas?
These provisions that are made out in 18A12, subsection 12, are copy and paste from the Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act.
Okay.
So this don't exist. You can already do this. The power to search any premises and so within that area without a warrant. That's what they're constitutionalizing. A piece of law that has been on the books since 1993. My information tells me they've tried to use it once. But we already have this power. The Commissioner of Police can already do this without the Governor General getting involved, right? The minister can advise his minister, and they can declare a special area, and they can go in, stomp down the people's doors, and they can search whatever people they need to search. They can cordon off the area. They can restrict movement in and out of the area. That I've only seen that in Jamaica, you know, where there's a, you know, Dodder's Coke. When you want to go to where Dodder's Coke lives, that's a special area.
So it's a literal like barricade.
Yeah, barra. Yeah. You have to pass through police to get in and out.
And that's what this is proposing.
I think so. You see, but the police will say, "Oh, but we will be reasonable, and we are not going to do it like that." And so, you know, we're going to know the students who are coming in and out, and so. But the power is, you have the power.
And then here you would have it in the Constitution.
In the Constitution.
A great big deal of discussion that is also being had is how the 13th Amendment bill could impact the rights of Belizeans. We've heard from attorneys like yourself speaking to that, as well as the general public feeling that their basic human rights could be affected. What's your thoughts on that?
That's absolutely true. Like there's no way of getting around that argument. Whatever the policy is, however you want to describe it, whatever you want to say about it, you cannot escape the fact that this is an abrogation of people's fundamental rights. It's scary for me because you then locked up these guys, took out arbitrarily.
Under reasonable suspicion, just to add there.
So they say. But you had them in jail, and for some of them for 88 days.
Some saying they weren't even able to speak to their attorneys.
Right. So once your liberty is restricted, we're in a high alert now for constitutionality, right? Soon as they detain you, and Paul, even when police pull you over at the checkpoint, they are breaching your right to liberty at the checkpoint. The question is it reasonable for them to have you at the checkpoint? And the answer to that is yes, because they make sure you have third-party risk insurance in case you crash into anybody or a lamppost. But beyond that, they need more to start search your vehicle. Under this, all they need is the area. You're in the area. So when you drive your vehicle in that area,
subject to that.
that's it.
How about citizens, like upstanding citizens,
Paul, let me tell you,
law-abiding citizens?
I live in the SOE areas.
Okay. Southside.
Southside. I have to drive past these checkpoints whenever it is. Thankfully, I know when there's a SOE. So my protocol is different when there's a SOE, you know. I have shifted how I normally operate as a citizen, because when there's not a SOE, I drive up to the checkpoint. I know you can ask for my driver's license, my insurance, you can check the registration on my thing, and you can send me on my way. Paul, me, a law-abiding citizen, when I reach a checkpoint, all 4 windows go down and I put on the lights. Because you know why? Then upon high alert, I'll not shoot me. I'll not say accident, or now want to try looking at my vehicle and then pull me out. That said, I have changed the way I operate as not only a law-abiding citizen, Paul. I know what the Constitution says, but I can't risk that they don't know what the Constitution says and what limits they have on how they can restrict me. So now I, for my own protection, lower all my glass so I could look in and put on my light. Why is that the citizen have to change their behavior? Because the enforcers will go rogue for fear that the enforcers will go rogue. You know, like that's not a state we should be living in.
I want to ask about something Sabrina and I were discussing last week, and I thought I needed some clarity on it. In 8 of the section 8, I think it's 18.8 maybe, yeah, 18A 8 of the proposed 8A. It says that the Governor General may make regulations as necessary.
Paul,
what are we looking at
You
here?
read from the amendment?
I'm reading from the amendment bill.
Okay, let me show you something cool.
So the Governor General can
wait,
go ahead.
read 18.8A. No, from the amendment.
Yes, written 18.8A. The Governor General, the one that says Governor General may make such regulations as are necessary or expedient for securing public safety and public order for the purpose of preventing, detecting, or controlling crime in that area.
Then just give the power right there.
It's already there.
It's already there in the SOE. You understand? They tweak it a little bit, but it's just giving the same power under this now. When I tell you copy and paste, I mean it, you know.
Yeah, and this is why I ask, what's the difference with putting something in the Constitution versus it already existing?
You see, B is verbatim.
B.
Let's read it together, Paul. I'm reading from the Constitution. You are reading from the amendment.
Yes. Any such regulations may empower such authorities or persons as may be specified in the regulations to make orders and rules for any of the purposes for which such regulations are authorized by this subsection to be made, and may contain such incidental and supplemental provisions as are necessary or expedient for the purposes of these regulations.
Wow, and the church say?
Amen. It don't exist.
I have a little bit of goosebumps there.
Yeah.
It don't exist.
But the argument could be made that it wasn't important to change everything, Glenfield. How do you respond to that?
You know what I will say? This is trying to solve citizen security using semantics. That's all this is. And I'm scared because what does it mean? It means to me that there is an attempt to try to make sure that the statistics of crime stays down or goes lower. This is an extra tool. The police would have you believe, morning Uncle Chester, would have you believe that crime fighting strategies were so efficient that the crime rate fell down. Nobody can argue that the crime rate is down. What is debatable is the reasons behind that, right? And I can tell you, oppressing the minds of your citizens to know that I'll lock you up for 3 months has to have an effect on your conscience. So then bad boy, no, I want to deal it, no, I want to lock no. That is how we affected the psychology of the criminal minds. We held the big stick over them and said, continue, or not get detained. My view. So then boy hold it down a little bit. My view. All we had them with the belt or the eye.
Yeah.
This now is an extra tool to say, and now we need SOE. We just want to deal with your area and we'll lock you up first for 30 days. I surprised the compol never asked for the first one be 6 months, you know, because he had said 6 months he wanted the SOE.
Yeah.
Right? And then they said to him, when I heard that, I said, that's cute, but the Constitution said 30 days, bro. And then you have got a National Assembly. You know why I've got a National Assembly? Because they have to answer to the voters. So if they extend the SOE,
it's on them.
It's on them, and then the country, the citizens have a recourse to vote for or against them in the next election. So that's why they have to extend it. Nothing is wrong with the 30 days. You need, in certain situations, you need to be able to pull the trigger quickly.
Do you think it would have been more effective or more acceptable to include provisions within this specific legislation that speaks to reprimand for police officers if they abuse their powers? You're in the circle of attorneys, and we've heard that the public saying, even outside of these SOEs and these special areas, accusing police officers of abusing their authority and questioning what would make them be less abusive, if you would, under this state of emergency or in these special areas. Do you see that cases arise on a regular basis of individuals bringing the police department to task over alleged abuse?
Paul, I will try to answer that question in this way. Remember, the police are citizens too, right? Some of them, citizens, some of them get to study in Taiwan. Some of them get to go to law school. Some of them excel in journalism. Some of them become police. Some of them become gang members, right? Paul, I often reflect on what it would have been like if I became a gang member. I think I would have been a great one. I like to think I would be great at anything I do, right?
Yeah, same.
But could you imagine my intellectual power behind a gang? When you lack opportunities, and I really wanted to stay away from this,
I was going to take you there.
When we lack opportunities and they're bright young minds who just did not get the opportunity to study. I have met and spoken with on several occasions Kenneth Flowers, you know.
Big Tom.
Big Tom. That man is that man could have been anything
Brilliant.
he wanted. When a man tell you the snippets, he's telling you how he understands it, right? But he's living it. Big Tom, with different sets of opportunities, would have been probably a politician. He has that charisma. Shelton Pinky Tillett, God rest the dead. That man was very smart, you know. Like, you don't know him, Paul. Bright Balidak. He didn't get the opportunity. I think he went to sixth form or SJC. But I think we have social problems. I really think we have lack of access to certain things. I think those are the problems. And I commend the government for taking a multifaceted approach. I acknowledge the LIU. I acknowledge the work that is being done there. I acknowledge that the government does sports and so. But I think it's important that we go to the root.
Yeah.
You know, instead of trying to address it up here with guys, we can lock them up. We go to the root and try to find out we have a poverty problem. We have a socio-economic divide problem. That's the problem. Let's look at that. Let's have a discussion about how we can help people to elevate themselves. You know, Sabrina, I helped a student I tried to help 5, but only 1 was successful. I helped a student to apply for a Digi scholarship. You know what the questions, like the issues for them are? They don't know where the income tax department is to go and get the letter that you need to put in the scholarship application. Like, seriously, they are upon a work, they don't know nothing about. They need to talk English, they can't read and write. So, well, they talk English, sorry. But they, part of the scholarship application to get a high school scholarship is you have to get a TD4, which their parents don't have, or a letter from income tax saying they qualify, they don't pay tax, right? You know how burdensome that is?
Yeah.
That's an opportunities problem.
Before we take a quick break, Sabrina raised an interesting point earlier, and it's in line with what you're saying, that a lot of addressing the root causes, you have to look at it from a long-term, medium-term perspective. But what happens in the short term when law-abiding citizens like Miss Evadne Jones and Luke Jones fall victim to what I refer to as domestic terrorism? What happens in the short term? What is there to address these real issues on the ground, if not a legislation like this?
That's a rhetorical question, or you want to answer?
I'm asking, like, what do we do in the short term?
The law exists.
So I'm hoping that we could discuss this a bit further. We do have another opportunity to speak with you after the break. I also see some people in the comments section asking, Senator, if you have some suggestions for solutions as well. Yeah. And so we will be touching a bit on that, including the consultation that took place yesterday. Do we believe it was effective? Do we believe it was simply there to ensure that when they do pass the bill, at least we talk to UNO?
Yeah.
We're going to be touching on that when we come back after the break.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
We are continuing our conversation, a deep dive into the 13th Amendment bill, and we're joined by attorney and Senator Glenfield Dennison. We've been speaking extensively on what the amendment is, the objective of it, what it seeks to do, but also some of the concerns, the criticisms coming from you guys on it as well, and how it can negatively impact persons. I think we should, or we could, spend the second portion of this conversation speaking about where we are right now. We know that yesterday there was a consultation that was held at Swift Hall here in Belize City. We saw a few people coming out. You were also there, President Glenfield. But what's next? What happens from here? There are persons saying that they do not support it, yourself included, but there's a high possibility that this bill will be passed, and we'll have to settle with it. We'll have to continue with it. We are discussing short-term solutions to long-term issues. The root problems was the topic that we wrapped up the first segment on. And we were speaking briefly prior to coming back about some of the challenges that we recognize the government and all administrations really face, where long-term challenges are concerned. When addressing crime and violence, when addressing poverty, it's not a short-term solution. It's very difficult to see real impact and real lasting effects with short-term solutions. And so we put states of emergencies in place. We put these units in place, and we call them real, impactful steps taken. But are they really? And that was not a rhetorical question.
Sabrina, if you could show that book that I brought.
Yes, the iconic Animal Farm.
It's about constitutional amendment.
Mm-hmm.
A high school student might not think so, but if you're a scholar of the Constitution, you will see it as a constitutional amendment. If you're a sociologist, you will see it as trying to solve these problems of food security, energy security. You will look at it from a different lens.
Yeah.
And so, Paul, every time I read it, it looks like a different book. Because when we look at Animal Farm, after the revolution, the first question was, how do we feed ourselves? Right? We have to work hard, and so that's applicable to where we are now. The question that you, Paul, have every morning is, how do I feed myself and my family?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you come to work every morning, whether you like it or you feel like it or not. You get up early and you come do your work. You are a boxer. You are the workhorse. You come and do the work every day, right? So the question, Sabrina, is like this. Everybody needs to start opening their minds to, how can I make Belize better? And that starts by, how can I make myself and my immediate surroundings better? You see, people like to talk about politicians to solve the problems and like that. It's not the politicians that are to solve the problem, you know. It's individual problem. We are the people. You see, when the Trade Union Congress said only the people can save the people, because we recognize it needs to be a shift in individual decision making. You know, Paul.
Everyone has a responsibility.
That is true.
It's all our fault.
Yeah.
And you know why it has to be all our fault? Because when we prosper, it would also be all because of us.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's time to ask Belizeans to take some more ownership of their decisions first and how their country is running after.
That's difficult when you have a cultural type of dynamic right now. We think how we think because we were taught to think that way.
And those people were taught, the people who taught us,
We're also taught
We're
to think that way as
way.
well.
we have to break the cycle, Sabrina. And I think how we have to do it is by citizen engagement. Let's have these public sort of discussions. The Constitutional Commission project went around this entire country, and it provoked thought, Paul. If we paid $2 million for nothing else, we provoke thought of our citizenry on what the Constitution is and what it does for the country and for the individuals in this country.
What's your thoughts on the yesterday's consultation process?
I think it's brilliant. I commend the government for taking the committee meetings. Paul, you may not be aware, these things usually happen in a little room, and we discuss among ourselves. People are invited to come in. People don't know you can come in. Most committee meetings are 5 minutes, Paul. I'm telling you that as a legislator. Committee meetings don't take long, you don't really, people don't show up. We had one the other day on the Families Bill where people showed up. It lasted hours, the longest committee meeting on record. Hours, because people started to understand that when laws are being passed, I can have a say, right? So I think this is a very progressive move. I commend the government for taking the constitutional amendment to swift haul. No, it's a little sad because I don't think we're there yet where the people that will be affected are able to tune into what the amendment means for them, which is why I commend shows like this, because it gives an opportunity to take it into their homes to explain, right? Because the people who know better have to speak out now, and that's why I took my lunch hour yesterday to go to that consultation on Serena, because and I went, I just made my point and then I left.
They consulted the public, but do you think that, I mean, we were able to also showcase on the news various reactions from persons who were present. It seems like there were a majority of people saying that they did not support the bill. Do you think that that will be something taken into consideration before it is passed?
You know, I will say this. I think the Minister for Constitutional Reform asked his Fort George voters to go out and say they support it. They came and said, my name is, I am from Fort George.
And I support
the bill.
And I approve this message.
I approve this message, right. Yeah. No man, we can't play politics with this. This is too important. This needed to be organic, this needed to be authentic, this needed to be the views of the people, not what policymakers say they want the people to say, can support the bill. Now political parties can rally 300 people to go to any consultation. We know that.
We are not going to say that that was actually the case in terms of the minister
but people came out
getting anybody to come out, but there were individuals out there that said clearly, I'm from this area and I support I vote for Mr. Usher, at least in one instance I heard that, and I support.
We can't play politics with this. This is not about Mr. Usher and whether we want, no, this is not that. This bigger than that. It's bigger than any individual. You understand? This is why you had heavy hitters at that place, 3 senators were there.
Do you think a referendum should be held on something like this?
No, this just needs to be put in the garbage. Honestly, like that's my answer. Like when I waste taxpayers' money for one referendum on whether we want the 13th Amendment. No, this is bad policy. let's just garbage this. Like, I'm serious. I mean, it's unfortunate the gun court is in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we didn't even get time to touch on that.
We are out of time. Our producers are in our ear telling us, hey, out of time, because that's where I wanted to go, the gun and gang sort. But hopefully we can expand on this conversation. Even tomorrow, we expect to continue it in our What the Friday phone call sessions. Yeah, maybe you call us and let us talk a bit about the guns and gangs court. But Senator, final thoughts as we thank you for joining us this morning.
Thoughts. As a country, we need to start looking more at what our policy decisions are. Seriously. We need to allow technocrats to lead the discussion so that the policies that we start to set of our state can address short, medium, and long term. Right? This change of policy making because a CEO comes in on a new government needs to stop. We really should go back to permanent secretaries where they are the helm and they advise the government on what the policy is for the country, right? I think that's an important part. We need to stop looking at this as a statistics question, right? The crime problem is not going to be solved by showing the numbers going down, because we will all have the reactions to murders where the elderly and disabled are attacked. But you can't play on
it's just one.
You can't play on people's emotions to shift the topic.
Yeah.
We all feel that, but then we can't use that and say, oh, so that's why we no. Have a sound policy. Stop having a knee-jerk reaction to these things, and let's holistically look at the food security problems. Let's look at the questions of access to education, and like the UB, they're saying how much millions they've sent to UB in tuition. Paul, it's buying votes, it's buying favors to the people who ask you to support them to go to school because they don't become beholden to you. Give UB the subvention. Do it that way. Don't do it so you can have a political benefit. This thing is too serious for us to look at that, man.
Senator, once again, thank you so much for your time. I know there's more we can discuss on this topic, but we do appreciate you coming in and expanding the conversation and our thoughts and the thoughts of our viewers. There's a lot of comments from people saying they appreciate the sober reflection on this. People are also asking questions, and we've posed some of those questions to you. So we thank you so much for this engagement.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have more Open Your Eyes for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number and send.
Why you didn't dip on the grind? Just bear this in my mind. These streets don't love you like I do.
Wrap my arms around you. Of a woman like you. Oh, I don't deserve it. To experience to be taken for a stroll. To experience for someone to rock and roll. Have no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of them can stop the time.
We were meant to be. Girl, you've always been my lover. Always been my lover. You don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid line. Influencing the youth, and it's not a line. I'll take a line.
You can change the world today. And I'm living proof that crime doesn't pay.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight, and don't forget to tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Greater Belize Media.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
Back to Open Your Eyes. We are continuing our conversation, and this next topic is all about bringing divine restoration with healing streams. We are joined this morning by Roy Bowen. He's a member of the Oasis of Hope Ministries. Also with us is Danielle Stain in the middle. She's a translator, and Juan Galicia, an apostle. Yes. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Healing Streams is a program we understand that is currently being taken on here in Belize. This is an initiative that is being taken across the world, really. Let's talk about the initiative and what it seeks to achieve. Can we begin with you, Roy?
Okay, so as you can see here, we have our magazine. And this magazine let us know about the Healing Stream. And also, it's an event that takes place 3 times a year. The first event takes place in March. The current one will be in July. And this weekend coming up will be the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th. And then we also have the October edition that will be taking place as well. So we are here bringing awareness to our Belizean people to let them know that God is still doing miracles
and still healing lives
and still healing and making difference in people's lives.
And this comes from the Oasis of Hope Ministries, yes?
Yes, we are partnered with this man of God, Pastor Chris. Yes.
Yeah.
So we are Oasis of Hope, and we partner with Pastor Chris in order to distribute, because remember that this is a global event.
Our global movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all play our part in spreading the word of God and let the people know that God exists and He's still doing signs and wonders, miracles, and we are here bringing awareness to our people.
Let's talk a bit about what these events are like.
Okay, so I'm not sure, but we have a short clip that shows the impact of this event.
Okay, that will air, I'm sure, once if you submit it while we talk, right?
Yeah.
So what's from your experience? Talk a bit about from your experience, if any one of you are being there and engaging in these events, what's it like? What happens? How people's lives are transformed?
Right. I'll have my
excellent.
Yes, my experience in the Latin America countries is we see a lot of miracles because you know, some people is sick, have sickness, and then these people don't have money for pay hospital, pay doctor, pay medicine. You know, in this time everything is too expensive in the world. So my experience when we get this program and take it to the countries, the people can get hope, because sometimes the people hope is hope in Jesus. Jesus can do miracles in this time. So the people get receive the miracles. So sometimes I know one family in Guatemala. They have to spend, I think, 10,000 quetzal every month for their child, and then when they stop to pay because the money is not enough to accomplish the doctor medicine, or then we reach these communities. This is a village in Guatemala. Then we get this program to them. The child received a miracle. Then that is the way how Jesus or how God contribute to the countries or to the families, because sometimes still the government can't pay for all the people in the cities, but Jesus still do miracles to the people who can believe in it. So we have churches in all Latin America, in these countries. The ministry, Pastor Chris ministry, is kind of Christ Embassy.
Okay.
So we have Christ Embassy in Belize too. So I invite the people to connect it to this program this weekend. So that is the other. We have the information number, 611-3205. So the people who need miracle, who need the intervention from God, they can contact us. Then we can send the link. They can connect it to this program, and then if they receive a miracle, they can contact us. Then we take these people to the Nigeria to testify, because when you testify, you tell the people what you receive. Then the people grow with faith and hope. Then the people start believing again, because sometimes this when the people say, okay, I think they got not do miracles in this time, and this is too big to me, to my family, to member of my family, because this sickness is too big. No, nothing is too big for God.
What kind of sicknesses or ailments have you seen healed at these sort of events?
I can tell you all kind of sickness. The more biggest is cancer. From people bring cancer, the problems from heart, the blood. People who get BIH, I see God put the new blood in the people immediately. So when the people go to check the doctor again, the doctor say, well, I don't believe it. Why you do it? Because I just today I checked it, and you still have this kind of sickness. Then when people come back to the doctor is surprised, because the people receive the complete healing from God. So
what's the significance of Nigeria in the entire initiative and the ministry? Because you spoke about, for some of the persons who would receive healing and restoration of hope, they are encouraged to go to Nigeria to testify, to share their testimony.
The purpose is because this program is around the world. So when some people can testify, then the other people still believing. So they say, okay, God do it with him or with her. God can do it for me or for my family. Then sometimes some people need another people to receive it, to start believing in what God can do for this family or this. So that is my experience to see in the countries what God doing. Then the people can save that money. People can, when the people they say, no, this doctor is charging me too expensive, I don't have but this is a hope for the nations, hope for the world.
I know we want to get Daniele in the conversation, but I want to ask before, who is Pastor Chris? Is he anointed? Is he a pillar in the person or in the presence of getting healing?
Yeah, he's the president for this program. He's the general pastor for Christ Embassy in Lagos, Nigeria. The church Christ Embassy is almost 5 million members around the world. We have the magazine, this magazine in all the language in the world. So we have the magazine in the communities, indigenous communities too. My experience in Brazil is, the Amazonas. For reach some village, we have to travel 7 days in the river, Amazonas River.
And you've been there?
Yes, I've been there. And then when we reach 1 o'clock in the morning, you just listen animals and the indigenous community. They is not. Sometimes these people they don't know how what is clothes, what is phone, what is nothing, because they is living there for all the time. So no come to the cities and the village. That is our purpose for these healings programs. For getting to the country, cities, anywhere. So that is a Pastor Chris program for this world.
And to get into all of these places that definitely speak other languages other than English, you do need translators. And so we have Daniele here with us. Talk about the role that you play in this initiative.
First and foremost, I'm the lead translator for our church where we are. I speak both Spanish and English. But in terms of the translation part of it, what happens is that because Christ Embassy is such a big hub of hope, we have people throughout the different countries who speak some of the indigenous languages still. And there was a time when we had first jumped into Christ Embassy. We had gathered people from different countries, from different areas, who also volunteered their time to translate because we also have this other program that is called the Rhapsody of Realities. It's another devotional, but it's the very word of God that you can just simply remind people that, you know what, this is what exists, this is what brings life, this is what can change you. And so what happens is that we have this, we search for these people, we get them out, and then we have them translate the rhapsodies, we have them translate the healing streams. In this case, as you can see, we have both the English and the Spanish, and it's in so many other different languages. And our goal at this point is to translate this into I think it's Punjabi, the standard name for the Hindu, and Mandarin as well, because those are the other cultures and languages that we have here in the city. And so in the translation aspect of it, we want to make sure that the Word of God is translated as much as possible, because His mandate says that we must take His Word to the ends of the earth. And so that's what we are doing. And my privilege is being bilingual, is that I can take it to the other English-speaking countries that don't speak Spanish. And I know that this is a platform that God has opened for us, and people are going to see, people will want to know, people are going to have questions. And so that is why we want to be able to do as much as we can, spread as much as we can, and do what we can in the time that we have.
So I think, I was going to say, I think one of the challenges that programs and initiatives and services like this may have is for persons attending just to kind of use it like a vending machine. Oh, if I go to this event, I am certain that I will be healed. What do you say to individuals like that who might be going there not necessarily really believing and open to the idea, but I'm just gonna see if y'all are really about what you say you're about?
We've had some testimonies, and we've heard testimonies of people being just inquisitive. The saying that says curiosity killed the cat. In this case, it never killed the cat. In this case, it healed them. In this case, it captured them. In this case, it changed their lives.
But you can't always guarantee that you will get healing, though.
The thing is that when they go with that little, well, let me see, and then they think that nothing is going to happen, something does happen.
Okay.
It might not happen right away for them. They might go back home and then they might contemplate, and then it was like, maybe they started meditating on something. Something is happening, and then they can't explain it. And you do have some that will go in and then just be curious, yes, of course, and inquisitive, but they might not have the right state of mind and the right state of heart as to why they're going. So then they might not receive anything.
Yeah.
They have to go with an open heart and an open mind and say, you know what? Okay, so for this group of people who are just going there out of curiosity, either something happens or something doesn't. It all depends on the state of their heart. But for those who don't have any other option, for example, they've tried everything, they've done everything, they sought advice.
When their back's against the wall?
Their back's against the wall, and then say, you know what would it hurt?
Yeah, it's
and then they just go.
It's like there's a story in the Bible about a woman with an issue of blood, and she had reached a point where she was just completely desperate. All the medical attention didn't help, and I think based on the story, she went took an extra measure to say, let me just see what will happen despite all that people are saying around me, and she actually received her healing as a result of that. So what I'm hearing here is that this is an invite to come and see, if you would, to be open when you enter, and just come and see, who knows. So where is the event taking place?
This is taking place in the 110 Cemetery Road. We have the place, Oasis of Ministry. We can send the link for the people who is interested in this program. We can send the link. The number is in the ad we have in this channel. And then we are here for serve the people who want the link. We can send the link.
Link for
this program.
Okay.
We can go in the link, and then you can connect in the program. You put all your information, what you have, and this. We have a special link too. When Pastor Chris is praying, the people can appear on the screen. Then the Pastor Chris can pray especially for these people.
So it's not an in-person event. It's not an event where you go in person.
They host a huge healing streams in Nigeria.
A stream.
It's just like as you see on the
yes, right.
the
All right, good. That's what I mean by healing streams.
Platform about healing streams. But the link that he's referring to is that if people want to connect so that they can be shown on their end live on the screen. And so when Pastor Chris it's his time to, because what happens is that there's a segment, everything goes by segments. There's a certain portion where the invitees who had healing the previous healing streams,
the testimonies,
and they are presented there. And after that segment is done, then we have Pastor Chris who goes on stage, and then he starts praying for all the people that are on the screen. And that's the link that he's also referring to, so that they can log in, they put in all their information, they state what sickness they're suffering from, whatever the case might be, and then he starts praying for them. All that we want people to do is to just believe. Open your heart and believe that healing is possible. Healing is there. It's available. God is still doing miracles. Whether you have people who believe it or not, it's neither here nor there. We just want people to know that God still does miracles.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
All right. Well, that's a perfect way to close off this conversation. We thank you guys so much for joining us and really giving this morning an opportunity for us to open our hearts to the miracles taking place in our lives as well.
Yes.
And so I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up this discussion.
Yes. Thank you.
We're going to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, there is an opportunity for you aspiring DJs. We are discovering Belize's next top open format DJ.
Is your classroom in need of a transformation? Benny's B-Box is giving one lucky teacher the ultimate classroom transformation experience. Just fill out the Google Forms on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Be sure to tag and share hashtag Benny's Classroom Makeover. But don't wait, submissions end July 31st, 2025. Visit our social media pages for more info. Don't miss your chance to get back to school ready with Benny's and B-Bucks.
This is where blue innovation meets green ambition and orange creativity thrives. Join us for the Belize Investment Summit 2025, September 3rd to 5th at the Sunset Caribe in San Pedro. This is the future of regional integration, and it starts here. Whether you're returning home, expanding regionally, or entering new markets, Belize welcomes you. Why Belize? Why now? Belize Investment Summit 2025, Bridging Markets, Building Resilience. September 3rd to 5th, Sunset Caribe, San Pedro. Visit investmentsummit.bz to register and be part of shaping the investment frontier.
Oh man, one more stroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
As an athlete, orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is a lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. This is our final conversation for this morning. It's all about discovering Belize's next stop open format DJ. And we have joining us on set two guests. We have Mr. Alex Dina, who's the owner of Dina Entertainment LLC. And we also have DJ Anonymous, whose name is not unknown to us, Mr. Micah Villanueva. He's a live audition judge.
Yes.
That's what we have him here as. Good morning,
Guys,
gentlemen.
welcome.
Good morning.
A pleasure having you guys here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about discovering Belize's next stop DJ and what this initiative really is.
So, my company, what it does, we represent DJs to work on cruise ships, the major cruise lines. So this week, what we're looking for are DJs who meet the criteria to get placed on a cruise ship. You know, that personality, the technical skills, the showmanship. And we've been promoting this for the past, I think, a month. Yeah. So DJs had a chance to register before, and we still have it open up until our seminar today, that DJs can still come in as, you would say, the wild card, and still can get a chance to show us. After this evening, when all the DJs perform and showcase their talent, we will take that information and that footage and assess and then start the onboarding process to get them placed on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what's really interesting about this initiative is the fact that you gentlemen also know what it's like to work in the cruise ship industry.
Yes.
Micah, you are still very much involved in that. And so you have that perspective of what it takes and what that type of work is actually like. I want to talk about that. You're both Belizeans and you got that opportunity years ago.
Yes.
And now you're hoping to really pass on the mantle and give other persons that opportunity as well.
Yes, I mean, it's been almost
15 years, I believe.
That is so crazy, Micah, because guys, I know Micah, and it does not feel like 15 years since you've been doing this.
Yes, it's been like almost 15 years that I've been DJing on ships. I didn't meet Alex until like halfway through that, to be honest.
Wow.
I was at Norwegian Cruise Line, and then I met Alex, I believe it was 2019. I reached out to him because he was on another line, and he was doing something that was really fun. You know, it was really different, and I started the vibe that he was pushing. I was like, I want to be a part of that. You know, and then that's when I reached out to him, I met him, and then later on, fast forward, we're here today.
Yeah.
But being on board, first off, foremost, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You get to enjoy it, you get to travel, you get to see the world, you get to meet people from all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, but it is very different from, let's say, DJing back home in Belize.
What is the difference?
The difference is that open format. Now, when we say open format, we mean multi-genre DJ. You know, being able to read a demographic, you know, without anyone coming over and say, hey, I'm from India. Hey, I'm from Europe. Hey, I'm from America. Hey, I'm from the Caribbean. You have to be able to look in the crowd and, you know, kind of like save that out, if you know what I mean.
What was that like for you, that learning process?
Man, I'll be honest with you, I can never forget the first night I had the opportunity of playing in a nightclub. I literally brand new from Belize. In the nightclub, it's like, tonight we're gonna play some 70s and 80s. Excited? Yeah, I know 70s and 80s. We played all the time back in Belize. I'm playing Whitney Houston.
Yeah, correct.
Anything that happened on the radio on Sundays?
Yes. You know, you know, girls want to have fun, you know, ring my bell. Yeah. And I was all the songs.
Oh my God.
I was like, man,
That's all I got to give guys.
You know, this is gonna be 3 hours long. You know what I mean? You gotta have that amount of 70s and 80s, you know, to have for that entire time. So it was a learning process, and you know, that's one of the beauty of this working with Alex, because we are going to train these guys. You know, so coming back to tonight's auditions, every single person that's on that lineup tonight have the opportunity of becoming a ship DJ. Let's say tonight you might not be your crowd favorite, but however, you might be a favorite, you know what I mean, nonetheless. So we will work with you, we will train you, we'll give you all the tools, and we make sure that when you go out there, you are ready for success.
All right, let's pause here really quickly and get like a little schooling on open format DJing, because in my mind, I feel like I'm supposed to have my songs ready, maybe even put it together one time. So if you're on set and you're reading the crowd, seeing that there's someone here from Asia, someone from the Caribbean, how do you go about preparing yourself with a catalog of music that could potentially line up with all of these persons that are present?
Well, it comes with a bit of experience, of course, you know, after being on there for, let's say, a couple of days or a couple of months or even a couple of contracts, it comes with experience. But when you're, let's say you're just boarding, it's your first time. At the start of every cruise, you're given, let's say, I wouldn't say like a warning, but an upfront as to who is going to be on the cruise.
So you really have to do your homework way ahead of time.
Most definitely. You know who's going to be on the crew to let you know, the different ages and where people are from and stuff, and then you do a bit of your homework, you know what I mean? And then when you get there now and you're performing, that's where your personality comes into play, you know, your how you embrace the crowd, because you'll be like, how can I go from playing Bollywood to playing disco? You know, that's a bit of a hard transition. But that's where your personality and how you engage with the crowd can help with all that sort of stuff.
What has that been like for both of you guys, the music education aspect of it? We spoke to Lindy last week, and he told us himself, you know, he's had to embrace other cultures through music now. I mean, here in Belize, if you go to either one of these nightclubs, I don't know, I think at least, you'll be hearing some soca, some Central Caribbean music. Might hear only reggaeton, sprinkle reggaeton here and there, but that's about it. So did you guys have to really learn?
So part of it is at Carnival when I was there, I mean I can speak of it because that's where I learned to DJ. I really honed my craft there as a hobby, and I still enjoy doing it as a hobby. We developed, I was part of a pilot DJ program where we developed a program to set up our DJs for success in terms of how to read the crowd, you know, how to navigate the crowd, how to prepare for it. You know, 5 years prior to starting Dean Entertainment, I managed the whole programming at Carnival. So I built it from scratch up for all the DJs. and like what you said, how do you prepare yourself for that? You know, we look at where the guests they're coming from, we look at what age range, we look at, you know, there's a lot of stuff in between. I'm not going to share all of it right now, but part of what my company will do on moving forward is to mentor these guys. You know, and because I'm not going to teach you how to mix a song, you need to know that, right? But as far as how to read the crowd and be successful throughout the ship, depending on what demographic, that's what we're here to do. And the DJs who are on my team have that same kind of mindset, because that's what each one teach one. You know, we all build on each other. I don't know every single song in the world, and I might make a little offbeat too, but that doesn't make me imperfect. I mean, that's what DJ is, right? Your personality, and just make sure the crowd have a good time.
Let's talk about tonight. More about tonight. What can we expect from tonight in terms of the DJs that are being invited? What's the skill level that they have to have? These sort of things.
Yeah. So I'm doing this audition a little bit unconventional. We kind of break the ice for some of these guys last week. Get to meet them and just kind of give them a little pep. And it'll be 3 rounds. The first one will be whatever you do in Belize, that dancehall, that soca, we want to see that first, and that kind of loosen up things. The second round will be the criteria of the cruise ship. You know, the 70s, the 80s, the Motown, the pop, the house, the dance. You know, and then the third one will be we give them 3 scenarios that they would have to create this deck party. They would have to create a 70s night, and they would have to create a Latin night with the crowd. And that's that's like the third round of the event.
Oh, that's cool.
You know,
and so in terms of their experience, that will show, right? Based on the challenges that they received.
Right. We have some of them who did say, "Hey, Alex, I'm nervous." I'm like, "Look, don't be nervous. That's
part of the game."
I still get nervous on some.
Of course.
I'm still a DJ as well, so I do a lot of corporate events. I do concerts. I do festivals, and I get nervous. That jitter is there. I mean, that's part of it.
The nerves shows how serious you take the event, or how serious you take the engagement, right? And then what happens after tonight?
So after tonight, like I said, we're gonna go and assess because we'll record the whole thing. We won't stream it live because of copyright laws. We can't really stream it, but we'll assess all their skills, and then next week onwards, we start put together their press kits and start prepping them for a cruise ship.
Can you say how much DJs you're looking for?
I'm really looking for. We have 11 guys that registered, and if all 11 hit it out the park and hit that criteria, I can start off all 11 before the end of the year.
Wow.
That's something that I can do. I'm saying that on camera and TV too, because that's what I can do.
Dang,
You know.
I wonder if I could learn to be a DJ.
I know.
In like a couple hours, DJing 101. But talk about how big of an opportunity this is. I mean, aside from selecting that top DJ of the bunch, just getting an opportunity to make a career out of this the way that both of you gentlemen have.
For one, it's it will benefit their families back home financially, right? Because it's competitive salary-wise. Everything is paid for, so you don't have to buy food, you don't have to buy, you don't pay rent. The cruise lines provide all the flights, hotels to and from the ships. We also provide all supporting documents for their visas and all that. And then 2, they will expand their brand globally. And so when they come out to Belize, they can offer even top-notch services and up their game. So
is there also opportunities for female DJs?
Yes, so we're encouraging female DJs to sign up. We will love to have some more
females.
One on there at the moment.
Yeah, we have one showcasing her talents tonight.
It's me, guys. But this sounds exciting. I do know that there's an opportunity for spectators to go as well. Let's talk about the prices of those tickets.
So we want an audience for these guys to cheer them on and their supporters to come through as well. So we have $5 for kids, $10 for the general, and then $15 for the reserve, and $50 for reserve VIP, where you will get alcoholic beverage, refreshments with that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity. Micah, some last words for us?
Looking forward to it. I just want to encourage the DJs to come out and just put your best foot forward and just have fun with it. Bring personality, because we're looking for that, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, your identity, personality. Just come and have some fun.
All right. Well, this sounds exciting, guys. Good luck, and we wish you guys all the best. And also all the best to the 11 that will be taking the stage as well today.
Thank you.
We take our final break now, and when we come back, unfortunately, we have to wrap things up.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa. And for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Coming up, get ready because it's crop over time. A friendship contribution to children with cancer, making a difference for those with special needs. African culture expressed through fashion, and another reward for a job well done. It's all next on this station.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 585. Here are this week's contestants.
If you look into her eyes, you'll see the strand of my own. They're saying, this is my message to you. Take my breath away if only you would stay.
Why you didn't step on the grind? Just bear this in my mind. These streets don't love you like I do.
Wrap my arms around you. Oh, a woman like you. Oh, I don't deserve it. To experience to be taken for a show. To experience for someone to rock and roll. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time.
We were meant to be. Girl, you've always been my lover. Always been my lover. You don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid line, influencing the youth. If it's not a line, I'll take a line.
You can change the world today. And I'm living proof that crime doesn't pay.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight, and don't forget to tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Greater Belize Media.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. Today was a wonderful day, and we want to say thank you to all of our guests who joined us this morning, and also you guys for sticking and tuning in with us as you started your morning right. As we wrap up the show, it's July 17th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to ya. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com.
You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BZ.
As well as Instagram for behind-the-scenes contents. That's OIE Belize. You can even text us or call us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. We also want to remind you that tomorrow is What the Friday, and so you can definitely call our phone lines tomorrow as well and share your thoughts on various topics. I imagine one of them will still be the 13th Amendment that we have been discussing most recently. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
And start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Thursday, Belize. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and SMART, bringing people together.